Hey everyone! So, today we are going to talk about gurus and the sort of code that gurus produce. So let's get into it. Now let's take just a moment and define a guru. So, what is a guru? A guru is a leader, a thought leader, a person who is so vastly ahead of the curve and virtually a genius walking among us regular mortals, and for the most part they are the sort of people who have an obsessive personality and get extremely good at some aspect of software development. Usually you have specialists who are either public speakers, and you don't have to be famous to be a guru. You can be a guru in your own office. You usually have these people who are, for whatever reason, they're just really, really passionate or extremely good, usually both, at something, at some niche thing. And for the most part, they are the sort of people that you want to kind of talk to when you're facing a problem or you need some assistance. Usually you'll find these type of people are fairly senior or just extremely passionate about what they do. Or both, ideally both. Anywho, so why I want to talk to you about gurus is because I do watch, you may notice this, I do watch a lot of different tutorials, and I have an interest in a really wide range of different topics within programming. So naturally I get to listen to all these gurus and the ideas that they present and different ways of doing things, and I look at everything from really, really advanced people who show really fancy techniques to people who are just starting out to make some blog posts of some more basic things. And one thing that has fascinated me in recent time, and it's only when I started reflecting myself on the purpose of software development and this idea of how to how powerful, beautiful engineering has what I call a sweet spot. Just hear me out now. I will make the argument, and this is a broad statement, so just bear with me. I will make the argument that really powerful software engineering techniques, they have to stand in proportion to the problem that they are solving. Not only do they have to do that, they have to be comprehensible to the wielder of the tool. And this is where the gurus come in. A guru is usually the sort of person who is extremely skilled at what they're doing. They are the sort of people that know exactly what they're doing. And they have these amazing ideas. Their level of skill is so high that they come up with these amazing tools. They come up with all these amazing practices, and they have this perspective that allows them to see things that lead the trend in many, many ways. And when they apply this knowledge in real life and in real software, they do one fatal, massive, they make one fatal mistake. And that is that they assume that there is no consequence to this powerful piece of engineering that they just added to whatever they're doing or they're promoting or whatever. And you see, the issue is that a guru is not a normal programmer. One thing I see constantly are these profiles, these bloggers I see, and even in my, not in this office, but I have these people who are strong promoters and advocates who have really good reasons for doing something in a very certain way because it's the right way to do it, and they have all these great reasons for why they're pushing a programming trend, something. Let's take monads for example. And they have all these arguments, and they always seem to forget that there are more people than them who need to be able to make this thing work. And that seems to be something that we are underestimating a lot in the programming world. I think not in the programming world, because true hardened professionals usually have this pretty much nailed down. That's why you see these very common reoccurring patterns of writing software that have these problems, but we still forget that these established practices, even though they have problems, usually this is what the juniors do. The juniors start looking at some guru who teaches them a really, really fancy technique, and then they think that by applying that, they are going to solve this problem with, say, service-oriented architecture or bad object-oriented programming, or like all these different issues. And the seniors have a very or rather the seniors they have a different perspective. They realize that just because something is engineering-wise better than something else, that doesn't mean that it's feasible to actually use that thing in a scalable manner. Because the issue is that it doesn't matter how perfect and how well orchestrated a solution is if it's not simple enough so that you can trust that over time and with a lot of different levels of skill. Because remember, even though you are the smartest, most genius person in the world, if your solution is incomprehensible to the people who are going to work with you or maybe take over the project after you, all you're going to do is that you're going to fuck up the project with your fancy code. And most likely, the project's health would have actually been better off if you had gone with a solution that is actually not as elegant or as perfect, but actually feasible to maintain over time. And I kind of look at it this way, and I hope this analogy makes sense to you. It is the same type of mentality you have when somebody's trying to build, say, a rocket car or something like that. Engineers really get excited about fancy, top-of-the-line, bleeding-edge type of stuff. Be it tools, be it techniques, be it whatever you want. And the problem comes when they are working. Let's take cars. If you dream about working on a rocket car, or you dream about being involved in such a project, and you start learning everything about rocket cars and all of that good stuff, and then you actually work at Volvo and you start trying to convince your manager that, hey, we should start adding practices that are right for the rocket car into our project because you're excited about it, you're actually going to fuck up the cars that you're making at Volvo because it's not right for that specific project. And I think that this is the thing that gurus, especially, I see it, and not just, as I said, it doesn't have to be these famous people who lead the trends, because I think that they serve a very important purpose in pushing ideas and getting new concepts. But just take it from me, just because some profile out there on the internet tells you that, hey, this is the best way of doing something, that doesn't mean that that solution is going to be the perfect fit for your project. Because trust me, it's very easy to go and make a presentation and show something and sell somebody on a very easy base case, but it's a a lot more trickier to make one of those really fancy pieces of software work for everybody involved in your project and make sure that it works over time. And I actually this is the thought that kind of struck me. Because it was only until recently I started realizing this, because I was the same way. It wasn't long ago where I always thought we should improve this, or we should make this nicer. We could tweak this and make it much more performant or more optimized. We can make this a better solution. It was only until recently where I realized that, hey, the problem with doing that is that just to give you some context, usually the things that I want to improve are the things that I'm really good at, things that I am I'm very, very familiar with, and I know exactly how it works and so forth. And the issue I have, as I'm trying to, I hope I can relay this in a good way, is that as the expert on the thing that I'm trying to do, it's very easy for me to understand my own solution. It's very easy for me to understand why this is a good idea and how awesome it's going to be. But unless I can break it down so that people who are not as skilled in this specific thing that I'm good at can use it in an effective way, it's not valuable. All it's going to do is that it's going to create a lot of confusion and maintenance cost and tech debt for everybody else. Because they, even though it's perfectly clear to me how awesome this solution is, it's not scalable it's not going to be comprehensible to anybody else. And that's the way off you as a guru or a genius or whoever you want to be, whatever expert you are. If you want to use your abilities to the absolute limit, you need to provide a solution that is not only better than the thing that you're trying to fix, but also simple enough that people who are not as masterful as you are can use it. Food for thought. Maybe it's not about just the perfect solution. Maybe it's about finding that spot between a solution that is really, really great, but at the same time simple enough that regular people can use it. Have a great day.